I just gotta change my logo real quick.
Alright.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, we're live right now.
We're live? Alright, bet. Yo, what's up, guys? Are you gonna put a tweet out?
Yeah.
Alright. I'll retweet it so they can see it.
The show will go on and on. Yeah. This shit makes me upset, yo.
It's not your fault, man. That shit happens, man. Shit happens. What's this dude's tag? I forgot this dude's tag.
Who?
This dude.
What dude?
Dang. Oh, it's Daps.
He changed it.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I don't know if I did that right. God damn.
What happened?
Oh, this bitch is bad. God damn.
You know her?
No, this is some like she like some wrestler or some shit.
Oh, so that's why you like Abby.
Oh hell no. Abby could get it though. Fuck it. She pretty in the face. It's just her body all fucked up.
No, the real Abby is not that one. Oh fucking hell! That's not what I wanted to do. That's what's in there. My bad, man. Dan was like, thank Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh.
I just tweeted it.
All right.
Let me see, your connection is unstable. Y'all can't fucking stand this shit. Yo, that shit happens at the worst fucking time. No, he ain't joining, man. I nigga's tired. That shit is at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. Going on 3. This shit was a saving grace for his ass. Anyway, we are going to start live. Let me hear our sounds first and foremost, actually.
What's up, guys? Yo, sorry guys. It was a little crazy. Josh's internet it's not optimal right now, so please forgive us about that.
Yeah, and it's in my apartment, man. The fucking infrastructure is ass. I have no doubt it was some fucking redneck guy that probably ran something over or fucked something up or touched something. Something he did fucked it up. But we have some interesting topics for today. So far, we have 3 main ones. The first one is, and I don't even know what I put. Hold on for a minute. Let me make a banner. Let me make a banner. She caught me on the banner. Nigga, turn that shit off. Oh man, I gotta look at this dude, fucking Johnny Come Lately.
I'm that. That's OD.
What's going on, Tortoise? Oh, don't do that, man. Well, no, you
guys, a Series X controller. Alright, I forgot this is a Peter show. Sorry about that.
Oh, ugly. Girl.
The controller's pretty much the same though. They got like rubberized like grips on the triggers. It's kind of cool.
So you liked it?
I still like the PS5 controller. So
Wait, where's your PS5?
it's in the depths of hell.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Where the people's at? Where the people's? Hey, Umar. You can always expect Umar to show up, bro. Salute, bro. Appreciate it.
No,
Facts.
Umar Shaka.
Yo, Umar, sorry, man. Like this week was a little fucked up because like the internet was like, not right and shit.
It was fine. I had everything ready. I had the tag, the thumbnail ready. All this shit I had ready, my dude, yo. And this shit happened, man. This shit is so annoying. So I missed half of my day. Half of my fucking day. That's half the fucking pay. So I am not happy. It's very annoying to get this shit going. Like, I don't normally have issues like that, but this shit's stupid, man. But whatever. We have 3 subjects to talk about, as you can see. Ratchet and Clank, the release date. The Last of Us HBO Ugly Girl Edition. I mean, you may have seen the fucking thumbnail. That bitch is so ugly. Man. Yo, somebody said she was Mona Lisa with Down syndrome. Yo, I said, damn, y'all think I'm bad. On Twitter would tear her ass up, yo. Anyway, and who is Alex Battaglia? That's gonna be an interesting topic.
I mean, Alex Bugatti.
Bugatti, Boo Boo, the fool. This nigga's a fucking clown.
Yeah.
Clown on steroids. So
you really put ugly girl in this.
That's shit. That's OD. I mean, I don't know who that girl is. I know she's from Game of Thrones.
But I don't know. That bitch got an 8 head, yo. Big ass fucking forehead. Her eyes are close together. She almost a Cyclops.
She's a kid, yo.
Who the fuck cares? It can be ugly children.
Yo.
You said she's a child. Wasn't she 13?
I guess you want to get into it then, since we already on it.
I guess so. I was going to ask you guys what you want to talk about.
Let's talk about the Last of Us thing. Let's get it out the way.
That's your subject. You take it away, my dude.
All right. So I don't know who it was that revealed it. I'm gonna assume that it was Neil Druckmann, but he revealed that Pedro Pascal will be our Joel, and let me see what the girl's name was. Hold up, give me 1 second. I forgot.
Already listed. I mean,
what's her name?
Ugly girl.
Ugly girl. Oh my god! Come on. Wait, hold on. Let me see. HBO. Okay. I see it right here. Hold up. Just give me 1 second. Oh my god. Skip ad. Seriously. All right. So yeah, and Bella Ramsey, she's gonna be Ellie. So there's a lot of confliction about it online because people thought like Pedro Pascal, like people were more worried about like the face kind of matching, Joel's character and Ellie.
How would you feel like if they picked a different person than Hugh Jackman for Wolverine?
Hugh Jackman, yeah, like, are you talking about that picture that people were posting of him?
No, I'm saying for Wolverine, not for this.
Oh, like, I mean,
you gotta kind of look like the fucking character a little bit, but I already know what this is all about. But go on.
Yeah, I'll just say this: like Pedro Pascal, he's an amazing actor. I don't know a lot about the other girl. Like, I mean, she was in Game of Thrones, and that was a successful show somewhat. Before it ended the way it ended, but Pedro Pascal, he's actually had like an southern accent and like a role or two, I think, before, so he could get that down pat. I think he could kind of capture the emotion we felt with Joel taking care of Ellie and shit like that in the first game.
Or what is he?
I think he's Spanish. I don't know what part.
He's from Chile.
He's from Chile?
Yeah, he speaks Spanish.
It's a little weird. I mean, Joel, like, he kind of got, like, I mean...
Joel had them right sides.
He could kind of pass for Spanish. Like, I wouldn't think, like, he's like a full-fledged like white American or whatever. But
well, I mean, his name is Joe Miller, so I think he's white.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I think the fact that because Pedro Pascal looks pretty American. I mean, you could see maybe he has a little bit of something in him, but he's pretty American looking. So I think that kind of matters the most than Joel looking Hispanic.
I mean, I don't mind. Like, I already know what it is. See, Neil Druckmann had to get favor. God, I hope he goes to HBO and stays the fuck over there. But I'm sorry, that's my personal opinion. I already know what it is. They had to get favor from HBO. HBO is a big, big, big deal. So they picked that same bitch from fucking, what do you call it, Game of Thrones, was on fucking HBO anyway. They must have had an agreement for this bitch because they couldn't find work for this ugly ass bitch anywhere except for this. So,
have you seen his movies? Like
I
Pedro?
know he's fine. He's fine. But there's a reason. I'm looking at that shit and I'm like,
I'm looking at a side by side of him and Joel right now. Like, it's passable. I think it's passable.
that's what I'm saying. That's passable. I wouldn't prefer because there was a lot of other actors that could have did it. They didn't have Hugh Jackman money though. So
yeah. But you got to think about this though, too, Josh. Like, they're not trying to base it completely around looks too. There must have been some type of audition where he probably invoked, like the soul and the meaning of what Joel is like for the game, and like they probably think it matched pretty, well from the way he acted, and the way he's acted in the game. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's not just completely just about the look.
The problem is, you think I'm talking about Pedro? What's his name? Pedro? Fucking Petro?
I mean, the same thing could be said. Well, I don't mean that towards you, but I mean that, I guess, towards like the people that's hating on it and shit. But same thing with the girl. The girl probably conveyed like, she probably invoked like the same type of soul and like emotion that
I'm telling
Ellie.
you now, they gave it to Ellie because it's an HBO show. I mean, that's what it is. So they gave it to that Bella bitch, and they probably can't find any more work for her. And maybe she has a contract. Maybe they thought they were going to do another Game of Thrones spinoff. Who knows?
I mean, I don't know. It could be a lot of reasons. Like, it could be that connection. Probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they gave it to her. But I mean, she probably auditioned for it or something.
She quest a couple times, supposedly, in the whole Game of Thrones. So maybe people's parents is talking about that shit. So
I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic about it because I never seen Game of Thrones. I think I only saw like. Actually, no, I did see it. I seen like an episode or two, but I don't remember seeing her in it. Was she good in it? Her acting?
King was rubbing his clit to that shit.
Oh man. Damn,
how was it?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm actually pretty excited for this because, because I mean, I've watched Pedro Pascal's movies. He was in, and as a matter of fact, he was in one of my favorite movies, like from recent memory. A movie called Triple Frontier. It was a fantastic movie. Him and Oscar Isaac, man, they both did a fantastic job.
What kind of genre was it?
It was a military movie.
Yeah.
It was a military movie, but yeah, I recommend it. But
I'm gonna look this shit up now. What's the name?
Triple Frontier. Oh, I heard about this. It was on Netflix, Josh.
It is on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie, man. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this, man, because I like Pedro Pascal. And I liked how he did his performance in Game of Thrones, which, by the way, fantastic show. If anybody's never watched it, I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic show.
It has dragons and fucking because it has dragons and shit.
It's amazing. No, it's not.
Yo, Ken, let me ask you a question real quick. Like if you had to like recommend what movie to watch to show people that he would be a good Joel, what would you like?
Wait. Hold on, Pablo. Hold on.
What?
Where did Bella come from?
What do you mean, Bella?
Well, you mean from Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
She came from Game of Thrones too?
Yeah, she was in Game of Thrones. She
was.
Was
they were both in Game of Thrones. Oh shit! So you go. That's the HBO connection right there.
Yeah. Both her and Pedro were in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
I told you, y'all think I'm trying to tell you this.
Hey man, that's how the business is, man. I mean, fuck it. I mean,
I'm
All you
looking
gotta
forward to
do
this,
because
man.
he looks. I mean, he got the little.
I mean, look what they said about Heath Ledger and shit. They was like, yo, he gonna be a trash Joker and shit, but he killed it. So,
He ended up being one of the best,
yeah.
if not the best.
But go ahead, Ken. But what about Bella? What about her? What do you think about her?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I haven't really seen her out in anything outside of HBO. I mean, in her role in Game of Thrones, she did a good job, man. I thought she did a good job with her character. I mean, she was pretty compelling. Both of them were, both her and Pedro Pascal. So I'm really looking forward to this, man, because um I feel like Pedro can actually pull it off, man. I mean, I don't think he looks exactly like Joel. And to be honest with you, man, I kind of feel like, maybe someone like Hugh Jackman would have been maybe a better pick, but I think he has the potential, man. I think he can definitely do it. He's a good actor. Personally, I like the movies that I've seen him in. And on top of that, just the fact that they're kind of like breathing more life into the actual universe around The Last of Us. Minus the whole controversy that was surrounding The Last of Us Part 2. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they can get into with this series, man. I mean, a lot of lore that they can get into that The Last of Us kind of like.
It's a shame that you can get into that lore in their own games, but go on.
Yeah, I know, right? But
No,
but
seeing the walk over that lore, but yeah, I mean,
but yeah, bro, it has a lot of potential, man. I think Pedro Pascal can pull off the Joel, like his character, man. And I think he has enough of the look to kind of pull it off as well. I mean, if you get the beard and everything,
I mean, the beard is going to cover half the face. So I mean, I don't have a problem with Pedro, although I just checked it out. This nigga got a strong ass Spanish accent, so
nah, he could get the accent done. He's done plenty of different accents throughout movies.
Antonio Banderas. Most of the time, I've seen this bitch.
Somebody switched her face with the cover. The black and white cover of The Last of Us, the first game, where they're both together. Oh my god, yeah, she doesn't look right like as Ellie and shit. We're gonna have to see how she look when they on set and shit.
Honestly, I always thought to myself,
oh man,
when I would look at the Louvre, right, which is in France, little art gallery shit, and I would always look at that shit and I'd be like, yo, Mona Lisa is a weird looking bitch, yo. How the fuck? I was like, yo, the artist got that wrong. I don't think that Mona Lisa looked like that. I think the perspective of her face is all fucked up. You know what I mean? And then I see Bella and I'm like, oh, okay.
You know what my concern is mostly with Pedro and Joel's kind of like his character. The thing that I'm the most concerned about is if he's actually going to be able to get like his voice right, which is weird. But I kind of feel like, because Joel's voice is very distinct. You know what I'm saying? And I almost feel like Pedro might not be able to get it just right.
That's what I'm saying. I hear that fucking Spanish twin, a lot. But you know what? Hugh Jackman, let's be fair, Hugh Jackman, he has, what is it, an Aussie accent?
He's Australian. Yeah.
And a motherfucker got that Wolverine accent on fucking point. But they typically can do that. See, when you have the Spanish in the way that you speak, like you're just certain muscles in your mouth and face, it's different. So that's why a lot of Spanish actors and actresses, it's hard for them to get rid of that accent versus somebody that just has that, British or Aussie accent and stuff like that. It's different. I mean, here's the thing. I see what Sony is doing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to build a fail-proof, they want to make sure that this shit works. And I commend them for it. I do. They picked two people from one of the biggest franchises of all time to bridge the video game and just the cinema, if you will. Yeah. Over. So people that enjoyed Game of Thrones and all the drama that it had He'd be like, oh, I know who Pedro is. Oh, I know what the ugly bitch is. Let me go over there and see this. Let me see what this show's about. And it's on HBO too. Like they kept it in the family for sure. And I'm
Yeah.
sure it had something to do with that.
That does make a lot of sense. Honestly.
But here's the problem. Sony's on their fucking political kick. I'm pretty sure of it. Now, people are saying, and I told you guys this before, and I was on, the Roundtable podcast, and I've been saying this shit a long time ago. I don't have a problem with the actors. What I do is that if you allow politics to get into your way and make these decisions, like I told you, if Ellie was a boy and was full on gay, the game wouldn't sell right. And I know it wouldn't because how America is. What they're trying to do is they're trying to do the same thing Disney does. Oh shit, let's make a fucking black Ariel. For what reason are you doing this shit? So they couldn't go that deep. You know what I'm saying? So they picked the fucking Spanish. Clearly he's Spanish, complete with the accent to kind of cross racial crass this dude to show how inclusive they are to me. And they picked Ellie as this ugly bitch because they didn't want to objectify anything at this moment. Everybody get a chance. To me, that's what it looks like they're doing. That's my armchair shit. Now, yeah, it's controversial for me saying the shit, which I'm always controversial in some fucking way, but that's what it looks like to me. Sorry. It looks like that. Sam.
I'm just looking forward to them kind of like exploring some more of the lore, man.
Nigga, you just like Game of Thrones. You hope a dragon, a zombified dragon. That's what you hope.
I'm a big movie person, man, and to see, because I love the first game, man. The Last of Us Part 1, the first one was, to me, an amazing game. And I played through it so many times, man. And I would love to see them kind of expand on what they had there, and really start, because I feel like they could start introducing a lot of different cool characters and elements into the world of The Last of Us, man, that they were not really able to do. Because the dynamic of the game is different than say like a TV show, like what The Last of Us 2 tried to do, they could really do well with a TV show, because it would really work, because you can actually tell, a complete story, with about different characters, right, within The Last of Us.
Because it's a series.
Huh?
Because it's a series, and not
exactly.
Have time to stretch your legs.
Exactly. It's a show. Yeah. You have time to kind of like build the character, build the story. You can jump from one faction to the next and just see how everything kind of works together and fits together within the broader scope of The Last of Us. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with this, because the way, as somebody mentioned this before, and I kind of saw what this person was, where they were going. The way that The Last of Us 2 was kind of constructed, it was constructed like a TV series. It was a female that said this too, by the way, but it was constructed like a TV series, and to create drama that's supposed to be perpetual drama, right? Which pisses me off. They worried about the Rattlers, you know what I mean? So that they could be a whole series if you wanted to do the Rattlers. Then you had the Seraphites, that could be a whole series, a season. Like the way that they constructed The Last of Us 2 was just like a fucking HBO movie. You know what I mean? And they care about the drama of the thing more so than the lore, which I feel like it's probably, I know you guys are optimistic and I don't want to piss on your shit, but I feel like this is where they're going to go. They're going to go with factions and people versus the actual lore and mutation. You know what I mean? And they want to get people up to speed by, kind of like beat for beat, doing the first Last of Us, you know what I'm saying? Because they'd already had enough drama as it was. And then they're going to introduce the Rattlers for season 2 and blase blase. It's a shame. What I would want them to do is create other people in that same universe, you know what I mean? And look at it from a different perspective. And then mention them as a passing by comment, like, oh, we heard that the girl was immune and some crazy ass fucking dude killed the whole hospital. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should have just started off fresh where people won't complain so much about it, but they have to appease the fans of the video game and bridge that gap. And that's what, to me, it looked like that's what they did. They picked the most popular TV show of this time and picked the two people on there that was kind of noteworthy, that looked like it, sort of similar. Man, Pablo, this is your fucking topic, yo. Open your mouth, talk.
I mean, that's it. We said we all have to say. The fuck?
It's your subject, though. Why am I ain't want to talk about that ugly bitch.
I mean, I already said what I said about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ken? I'm sorry I cut you off. Let me let you get your fantasy off.
I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff you were talking about with The Last of Us Part 2, there were aspects of it that I didn't like, but there were aspects of it that I did like, you know, and one of them I feel like was kind of like, you know, starting to kind of get a like broader scope of what was going on in the world of The Last of Us. And I know that the first game was built on the relationship between, you know, Ellie and Joel. I get that, you know what I mean? And I loved it. I loved that story. You know, I love what they did with that. But I also like what they did as far as that aspect of The Last of Us Part 2, because I felt like it was a cool dynamic, you know, because the idea is that...
Well, you didn't mention it. What was the dynamic? What was the dynamic you were referring to?
The dynamic is like, you know, when you play through the first game, right, your perspective is, you know, from like one side of the story, you know, so kind of innately you think, okay, so they're the hero, you know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily like the case, but from your perspective, that's kind of how you look at it, right? So when you look at the other side, you know, you think they're the enemy, right? But from their perspective, they're the hero, they're the protagonist or whatever, right? So you kind of have these like mini stories where people are their own heroes, quote unquote, protagonists of their own stories. You know what I'm saying? And what they were trying to tell with with The Last of Us Part 2, where they had you play in the role of Abby or whatever, right? And I have my gripes with her character and whatnot, but the concept is what I liked. You know, the fact that they put you into the perspective of somebody else who looked at you like you looked at them, basically, you know, and to kind of
a bad idea. I'm talking about the Rattlers and the Seraphites. I wouldn't like the concept of The Last of Us was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking about them in particular and how they seem to want it to be in seasons. That's why The Last of Us was broken up the way that it was. It probably made it easier for Sony to pitch it to HBO because they don't know how video games work like that. You know what I mean? You got these drama chunks, and HBO kind of want to see how long the show could last. You know what I mean? And it seems like they had to, because you can't just show these people, because they don't play video games, a story about cordyceps and its infection and mutation and a relationship between two people. They look like two people, nigga. Nigga, I gotta make this shit stretch. Who else you got?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they kind of go with it as far as like how they're going to implement you know, the whole aspect of the cordyceps and everything, because you know they did put a big emphasis on that in the first game. But I mean, I still like the fact that they do give you the opportunity to kind of like see different aspects of the world of The Last of Us. I mean, you know, like the Seraphites and stuff like that. You know, I think that's cool, man. I like that. I want to know more about that. You know, and
it wasn't handled as good as it could have been. And I'm not even talking about politics or anything like that. Some of the motivations for this, like if they wanted to do the Seraphites, I would love to have infiltrated the Seraphites, like play. If they really want to do an ambitious Last of Us, why don't we play as Lily or Lev, whatever you want to call them?
Oh my god.
What?
This nigga, yo.
What I do? What happened?
Oh man, y'all better get ready for that. We getting that, bro. We getting live action Lev.
No, I'm just saying, you walk in there and you get to see the scene where, you know what I mean, the mom is beating the shit out of him or her. I don't know which one came first, but like, you know what I mean? And you get to see that anguish and see how fucked up they are. And then you play as the the WLF?
Yeah, the Wolves. Yeah, WLF.
You see them and why they hate each other so much. You know, what's the conflict of them? and you go back to going to Abby and what happened with Abby, maybe, you know, the sacrifice killed somebody in a terrible way, and you get to see that shit, and they have to battle the fucking cordyceps as well. I mean, I just feel like if they really wanted to take it there, they could have definitely sectioned the game off into different pieces. But again, they tried to conclude Ellie's story, and it's probably why they couldn't do what they needed to do. You know what I mean? You still got like her games and movies or shows are different, you know, intrinsically. So
they are. I mean, they could have done better with how they pieced the story together in the game. But I mean, what they did with the game, or what they were trying to do with the game, I feel like they could really expand on with the show. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. And I do hope that they, you know, kind of bring back some of the, like some of what the first game was about, you know, or the story around the first game, where it was about the outbreak, you know, about the cordyceps, and you know, see where they kind of go with that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic about it. I'm looking forward to it.
I kind of see where it's going, and that's what's making me like, huh. You know what I'm saying? Like that's to me deep down inside, that's what's making me feel like you see the puzzle pieces. What I thought The Last of Us was going to be was how the cordyceps impacted people. You know what I mean? And the Joel and Ellie story was how, you know, was their story of how it impacted them. You know, you got Henry and what was the other guy's name, the black guy, and how that handled them. You know, you had the people that were like fucking, what do you call it, the cannibals, how it hindered them. But The Last of Us kind of evolved into this drama between people that were you know, the world is fucked up, and how the people interact with other people that were fucked up. And I don't like that. I feel like the cordyceps definitely took a back seat, and we should see how the cordyceps influence them. You know what I mean? How are we going to eat? Oh, this fucking deer that I shot has fucking mushrooms all over this bitch. You know, we got to get something else. You know what I mean? You know, just look at the struggle of how a pandemic, especially now, but I guess we can't use the word pandemic anymore either because Naughty Dog, but how the pandemic is affecting them. You guys realize that, right? On Outbreak Day, they changed it from Outbreak Day to something else because the word pandemic was offensive.
That's crazy, man.
You do realize that, right? That was straight from Naughty Dog. Just kind of saying. So I mean, truthfully, that's why I look at that shit. I'm like, you doing shit like that now?
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I mean,
it's good to be hopeful, but let's see.
Well, I mean, The Last of Us, even with the first game, man, you know, the whole idea of, you know, like the outbreak and everything, and the cordyceps did kind of innately take it, like the whole concept of the cordyceps was like, it wasn't like the core foundation of what The Last of Us was, you know, because they didn't have.
I would say it was, because ultimately they had delivered this cure. Essentially, it was always about the cordyceps. It just so happens that, you know, there was relationships involved. The second one was definitely had nothing to do with the cordyceps. There was nothing about that shit. Nothing.
I think they had more of a focus on the actual characters themselves. I mean, they had more of a focus on the cordyceps in the first game.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I agree with you there. But that's my problem. You know, everybody asks me, why don't you like The Last of Us like that? Because you know, blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro, like here's the fucking situation. And I wanted to know more about cordyceps in general, because I'm a science junkie. It was an interesting concept about how a fungus decides to manipulate living organisms so it can spread, and it only targets certain species. You know, there's cordyceps that target a specific spider or a specific grasshopper or whatever it is. I thought that was really cool. But The Last of Us 2 just was not about cordyceps at all, really. it took several seats back. And that's why I'm not really that. And I feel like the whole cordyceps idea was so intriguing, and it took a whole several back seats on a name of these characters. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think
yeah.
I mean, I think that was what their focus was from the beginning. Anyway, I mean, they had such a strong focus on the characters. I mean, I guess they took more of a focus on the characters in the second game than they did in the first game, at least in terms of like how it related back to the cordyceps and everything. But I mean, like the core of what they founded the first game off of was still what they did with the second game. It's just they didn't have, as much of a focus on how the cordyceps affected everybody around them.
That's what I'm saying. I think that was the idea for the first time around. When Tess got bit, it was like, you had shit at stake because of the cordyceps infection. You know what I mean? There was a lot of shit at stake. So it was like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Oh, this bitch got bit. Come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? You had to put on your mask and shit, So you won't see somebody that, just evolve into that, And it's like, when Tess said that shit, I felt like that. I will not turn into those things. I will not. That lets you know that they saw some fucked up shit. Some loved ones that got fucked up, and they didn't want no part of that shit. Again, the focus was still low key on cordyceps. You didn't get none of that shit in The Last of Us Part 2. None of it. Nobody cared about infections. You had zombies in the middle of the fucking road and shit like that, and they had so much baby mama drama and shit like that. They moved the zombie over to the side. Excuse me, zombie. I can't believe you had sex with her. How could you do that? Let's move. You messed up my conversation.
Oh man.
It's just me.
We'll see, man. We'll see how they handle the whole aspect of
this nigga's so pessimistic. This nigga.
We'll just have to wait and see, man, and see how they kind of like implement the whole thing with the cordyceps and everything. I mean, obviously it's going to be part of the story. I think it's going to be a pretty big part of the story, obviously. But how much?
You can only hope.
I hope so, man. I mean, I'm intrigued by the whole concept of the cordyceps as well. But I also like the fact that they did put a strong focus on the characters at the same time.
Because they gave it some meat. You know what I mean? They gave that portion some meat because of that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just about zombies. It was about like how this shit is really affecting the people that we love. This shit is fucked up right now.
I mean, I'm optimistic about it, man, and I really do like Pedro Pascal, man. He's been in movies that I really enjoy. Bella, what was her name? Bella, forgot it. Bella Ramsey. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything with her in it outside of Game of Thrones, but what she did in that TV show was I think she did a good job. So I honestly don't really feel like she's the perfect fit for Ellie, but that's just my opinion. We'll just have to see how she does with the role. And if she can actually bring her character to life.
I know people like, how can you say that? She's just Carol. That was so fucked up. How could you talk about that?
I don't know, man. Like I was looking at the pictures online, and I'm like, I don't know. She just doesn't like her like I don't even know. Like her energy just doesn't feel like Ellie to me. You know what I mean?
Her joking around with the little joke books or nothing. To me, I can't see that. I can't.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Game of Thrones. Looking at her face, she don't look like a joking kind of person to me. I mean,
nah, she wasn't in the show either, man.
maybe the cussing, they got that part going on, but Ellie had a lot of charm. You know what I mean? She was fucking goofy.
Yeah. She was very stoic in Game of Thrones. So it'll be interesting, man. I mean, I have to see how she kind of does her characters. Hopefully she can bring Ellie to life, and hopefully Pedro can nail Joel as well.
I think Pedro will probably want to nail it, even if he has like a shitty accent. But I feel like he's going to nail it.
He's going to nail the accent, trust me. He's done a country
You got
accent
some naked
before.
pictures of this fucking page on your back wall.
Yo, I got Pedro on the wall right here, man.
I
Yeah,
did
you got it on his
actually just
phone.
busted a whole load just now. That's why I was quiet.
I know it was. He probably ate that shit too. Anyway, look, what's the next subject we talking about?
Ellie.
We can talk about that Ratchet and Clank shit.
Shit, you stupid. I heard you.
So yeah, Ratchet and Clank. You know,
I wish you would have said that, yo.
Ratchet and Clank. Excuse me. Order in the classroom. Order in the.
Before we go up, sorry, go back.
What?
That shit would be hot.
Ellie.
You want some?
Some mighty thin ice here. Yeah, yo.
I'm like, damn.
Yo, my bad, Pedro. Yo, that's funny, man. Like I'm curious to see how this shit works. Yo, I'm excited about it. We'll just see though.
All right, go on up. I'm about to call him Pedro.
So,
yeah, I think I just called him Pedro. Yo, my bad, Papa.
You know what I'm saying?
To expand his ethnicity. Go on, Pablo.
So Insomniac, you know, they revealed that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart will arrive on June 11th only on PlayStation 5. So you know, they're trying to get it ready for that summer heat. You know, they're trying to pick up those sales during the summer, you know. So that's good. You guys think that's a good release date for the game? I don't think there's a lot of games coming out in June. I don't think so. You know, they're trying to pick up those sales.
Sorry, but I just wanted to see I just wanted to see if we were actually even recording. You know what I mean? Oh, look at him. Umar was quiet as a motherfucker. That motherfucker was like, this motherfucker talk about The Last of Us again, you black bitch. But anyway,
He's probably not into movies and TV shows.
I like personally date. That's one of the success stories of Sony. They know how to space out their games. You know what I'm saying? The thing is the type of game that Ratchet and Clank is how successful is going to be. Is my question.
Let me tell you, just so you have a good idea. But this is the games that it's matching up with. As far as right now, you know, since this is June, like we could probably get more games revealed. But Elder Scrolls Online, Blackwood DLC, Back for Blood, Rogue Book, and Solar Ash. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna do pretty well. You know, against those games. So I think it'll probably sell like pretty crazy.
Well, no, I'm not saying that it's going to get cannibalized by other games. I'm just thinking in general, like Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I had no doubt about that, but I didn't know those black ass games were coming out around that time. But let's talk about the gameplay, though. Have you guys played? I've spoken to Ken yesterday about this shit. And this black bitch never even played the PS2 Ratchet and Clank. Mm-hmm.
Damn, you come for his whole life. God damn.
What about you, Pablo?
Yeah, I played it. I'm not gonna sit and be like, oh, Ratchet and Clank, yeah, amazing, incredible. But yeah, I mean, I played a bit of the first game and shit. You know, it's pretty fun. Like, Rift Apart looks a lot better. It looks like it's expanding upon the game itself and shit. So that's good. A lot of games that have like these sequels.
Wait. Did you play the PS2 versions? Is what I'm asking.
No, I didn't play those fucking old ass games.
Yeah, I should piss in this fucking head.
But yeah. But basically, like a lot of games that have these sequels, they usually like play it safe. But it looks like with this one, like they're actually trying to go big with it. So that's good.
I figured this too. Now I'm looking at it. If Nintendo can release their kitty ass games and it does like a shit ton amount, you know what I mean? And when I say kitty games, I'm not talking about Animal Crossing. I'm talking about like Splatoon and Mario and shit like that. I mean, maybe it's not going to be such a bad thing. Sometimes I kind of think about platforms and how people don't really like it. One of the things that y'all young niggas probably don't know is that Ratchet and Clank for the PS2 had multiplayer. Really, really cool shit. So I don't expect them to add multiplayer in there. I would like it. They don't want to put effort in making their games look good. Nintendo are lazy. I don't. Their art style is so strong. See, that's another thing that Ken and I were talking about. Their art style is dumb strong, and they know how to tap into nostalgia. And actually, not even this nostalgia. Let me say that because that's being reductive. They know how to tap into your childhood. You know what I mean? They make you feel like a kid again, those games. You know what I mean? And yeah, it looks nice graphically. It looks really good. And to me, Ratchet Clank was always that kind of, what do you call that shit again? Ben 10 type teenage type shit. It has some, lightly sprinkle on mature themes. I mean, what do you think about the female Lombax? Niggas.
You said the female linebacks?
Lombax. That's the species of Ratchet.
Honestly, man, I think she's like an alternate dimension version of Ratchet, and I feel like she's gonna have a similar name too. It's probably gonna start with R. I guarantee it, bro. It's gonna be like fucking.
Probably gonna be fucking Rachel.
Shit. Yeah, some shit like that. I guarantee it.
Wait, and guess what? And Sony is on that kick, making sure everybody's inclusive. They're gonna be Clank is gonna be a female version of himself. So it's gonna be Rachel and Clit.
It's gonna be like Clank with a flower in his hair, on his head or some shit.
You heard what I said, Pablo, right?
Say what?
The name of the two characters?
No, I'm not saying Clit. No.
Introducing Rachel and Clit.
I mean, they're doing that with a lot of shit. Like look at the Equalizer show. Like, they replace Denzel with fucking Queen Latifah and shit.
Yo, Queen Latifah can get it though. I ain't gonna hold you.
You dull on that one, my guy. But,
you just don't like black chicks. That's okay.
No, I do, but just not that one.
No, I don't know.
If you like saggy fucking.
Oh, you saw her actuals. Yo, see, you don't know. This is old man. Your expectations as you get older just drops in the fucking basement. So I just moved them pancakes over, yo. Maybe use them.
Oh, hell no.
Flip them bitches. Flip. Plop, plop.
Just like a twig. Hell no.
You ain't gotta look at it. Just move them pancakes over. Anyway, yeah, well, this world is devolving, and it's not just Sony, it's everybody. I will say that it's just everybody. Everyone doesn't want to be offended by anything. You want to know something really crazy on the side note, right? I saw some really, really, really ridiculous shit online. How everybody wants to be in like a cancel culture type shit. You know what this bitch said? Some white bitch, which she's not even fucking black. Like, what are you doing? She says, I don't think white people should use reaction memes or gifs of black people. We keep going this way, man. I don't know. Like this whole inclusive thing. I don't know. That's all I'm saying about the inclusive thing. I thought that was ridiculous. But anyway, going back on the Ratchet Clank, looking at the gameplay, we need to see more of the gameplay because you pulling the rifts and pulling through rifts is like, I don't know how you guys feel about that, the gameplay shit.
It looks pretty cool. I like the thing I like the most about it is that like I like how you can just instantly be in like one world and like just be transferred to another within like a snap of a finger. I think that's really interesting. I don't think nothing's been like done.
The medium is a lot quicker too.
Nah, that's the performance like fucking sucks ass. Like on Ratchet, it looks like it just runs seamlessly and shit, and you don't have to do like any corny split screen bullshit or whatever gimmicky
When you
shit.
look at Ratchet Clank when he pulls in the other dimensions, you can see a small pause for when it actually loads all the assets. You don't get that shit when it comes to the medium.
Yeah, but you don't get any action either in the medium.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, wow, hold on. Well, first of all, are you capping? You ain't even got the game.
No, how do you know what I got in my house?
I know. I went there last night after I piped you out.
This dude is so gay, yo. Oh my god.
And then I saw that shit. I saw you had that shit downloaded, and then I backshotted you and told you delete that shit right now. And you
Yo,
did.
he's so gay.
Yo, honestly, man, I feel like with the Rift thing, man, it'll be interesting, man. They'll be able to do some cool shit with it, man. I think
Is
they
it
will.
random? Like, is it just a part? Is it like a what do you call that shit again? That they have in Uncharted all the time? Set piece. Is it like a set piece?
What?
I think it will be, for the most part. I don't think it'll be like, kind of like randomly generated where you can be like transported from one world to the next. Like that would be cool though. Like if they could implement that into the gameplay somehow, where like when you're playing, you just like randomly get sucked into one of these rifts and you get like shot to another planet or some shit, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I'm saying?
I will say this: the amount of shit that's going on the screen is ridiculous. Now, I will say this too: is this game going to have a 60 frames per second mode?
I think it will.
Because this game, honestly, looks a hell of a lot better than the Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm not even gonna hold you. It just looks better. I think it's more technologically impressive as well.
You know what I'm actually looking forward to from it, and it's actually something that I don't see a whole lot of people talking about. Is actually the DualSense controller, man. Like I remember they were talking about it a while back, and how you have to like for example, when you use that shotgun, right? You have to like hold it halfway to shoot one bullet and then press it like all the way down to shoot the other one. Like I think it'll be. I'm curious to see how they kind of like use the DualSense controller in the game, man. I think it's really gonna add a lot of like cool like I guess ways the game feel like the way the game feels and stuff like that. I think it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think they're gonna do some cool stuff with it.
I mean, so I heard about that too. About the haptic feedback and stuff like that. I mean, it'll be nice to feel the actual tension when you pull in one of the wrists. You know what I mean? It'll be really fucking like lit.
I think it will.
I think I like it. Umar said some shit. He said something that confirmed something, but I don't know what he was referring to.
They confirmed it already back in August.
Well, yeah, but what did they confirm?
What did they confirm? He's probably talking about the 60 frames, maybe.
Yeah, they confirmed that a while back about the game. It's gonna have like 2 modes.
They were like, "Yo, do you want 60?"
It'll probably have a third mode by the time it releases, honestly, because they surprised everybody and released a performance and ray tracing mode for Miles Morales. So they'll probably do the same thing with Ratchet and Clank after it comes out, maybe.
I'm buying it. I'm such a platform warrior. I love platforming games, and I love platforming games when the camera is not on rails. Specifically, like I love that shit.
Yeah, platforming games are fun.
So I will say this: the what do you call it? The Sackboy Adventures, one of the only few games that pulled that off, because I normally don't like those games.
What, platformers?
No, I don't like when it's I don't like it when it's the camera's fixed.
Oh, okay.
Yo, you ain't lying, Dre. Yo, what's going on, Dre? Would it be? We already talked about The Last of Us and nausea, man, about how that bitch is ugly.
This nigga wildin'.
I'm not wilding. She is ugly.
Yo, I feel like at this point you just got a vendetta out for The Last of Us, just in general.
I wouldn't mind if they didn't fuck up. I really wouldn't. I would not mind it if they didn't fuck up so much.
Yo, man.
I can't, like, to me, there are several no-nos when you have a franchise that you don't ever do. You never alienate, ever alienate your user base, ever. It'd be better to let that shit burn out than to just make a sweeping change. Like, think about your favorite rapper, right? Wait, let me ask Pablo this since he lived in New York. Who's your favorite rapper? Or should be some corny as shit. Drake.
Favorite rapper?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Drake right now. You know.
Could you imagine if Drake started doing country music randomly? Like he just stopped all rapping, just did country music.
Who, Drake?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be weird, but I mean, I'm sure he can make it work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
If Drake did some shit like that, I like. I'm not gonna say that I would be like thrilled about it, but I'd be interested to see like how that would turn out. To be honest with you, man.
I can't even remember his voice anymore. Yo. I don't even listen to like his shit.
He's supposed to be coming out with a new album pretty soon.
He comes out with an album every month though, so
I'm looking forward to that shit. I'm looking forward to Drake's new album and J. Cole's new album.
Facts. Yo, see, this is how I knew, man.
Yo,
you want to start a new podcast? Yo, fuck this nigga, man.
Yo, nobody likes like J. Cole anymore. Yo, it's weird.
Cole World, yo, I can't wait for that shit to drop, bro. It's gonna be fire, man.
Bro, I can't wait for Certified. What was that shit called? Certified Lover Boy? This is his new album.
Ah, shit, I gotta look it up. Hold up.
I think that's what it's called. But yeah, that shit gonna be fire.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, yo. I'm so mad, yo. I'm fucking relegated to fucking Ken internet right now.
You said you.
Man.
Fuck, man, that shit's annoying. I want to do all this other shit, and I'm stuck with Ken shit. Ugly ass internet.
All right, so let's talk about this Alex Battaglia guy. Seems like he was trolling a lot of people this past week over his fucking videos. I guess these niggas don't know how to do analysis anymore.
Nigga, what's wrong with you?
I'm joking, man. So like, what's going on with this? Like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh, because I know you a little more in tune with that whole thing with how they do analysis for like these PS5 versions and Xbox Series X versions of these games when they go head to head. But I don't know, it's just like redundant, you know, like same shit that they be doing just to get people like rattled up and just to get them to watch their shit. That's why I just stopped watching their shit altogether, man. I just think it's just the back and forth shit is mad annoying. But what is it that this Alex Battaglia did this time?
Yo, this is Josh's topic for sure, yo.
Yo,
take it away, Josh.
Definitely my topic. Well, right, this topic was transformative.
Oh my god. he's
So, but before I go, I just want to say, auf Wiedersehen.
Oh my god. Man, he really coming for that man right now.
Yo, I'm telling you right now, like I took 3 years of German, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. So I can't remember too much anymore. I can count from 0 to 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But
oh man, this nigga a Nazi for sure.
Oh, the hell insane. No, but here's the thing, right? You gotta look at who Alex was. So supposedly he was a big PC guy, and then because Microsoft is an extension of PC, he has this thing with PC, right? But then you know what really irritated him is that, and I remember, people don't know this, but I used to be a member. I don't even remember my username or past Gaga.
Alex,
I remember the username and password for the Beyond 3D website that I had back in 2005. It's a long time ago. The guy goes under the name Dictator, which will let you know of his background of Nazi Germany. But that is his name, the Dictator. So the thing about him is that people on Beyond 3D and NeoGAF will say, how the fuck is Sony making their games look like PC games, right? And you already know how that is with PC players. They're like, no, the fuck it's not. The resolution is 10 times slower. It doesn't run at a stable 60 frames a second or 100 frames a second, blah, 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 blah. So they already have a PC people have a vendetta against consoles and specifically PlayStation, because the developers under Sony seem to like really make the most out of their fucking hardware. There are some things that they were doing with the PS2 that shouldn't have been able to be done, like the type of vector accelerated motion blur that they had in Shadow of the Colossus, or having an open world game that was running at 60 frames a second. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of it was Jack and Dexter. It was a lot of things that they've done. They used to think that the PlayStation 2 couldn't render high-res textures. You know what I mean? And because they were looking at the specs back in the day, and they said that, the VRAM or video RAM for where you store all your textures is only 4 megabytes. How are you going to store a whole game? What they failed to understand is that there was a component within the PlayStation 2 that was able to swap textures out faster than a frame could be generated. So you wouldn't have known it, but it would stream data so quickly. It's similar. I don't know who playing that music, but that shit gonna give me copyrights.
Hold up.
Nigga, stay ratchet, yo. Damn.
Yo, Josh, I wanted to ask you something, like, just to kind of throw in something kind of related to what you were talking about, because you said that they were kind of specifically targeting Sony with some of this stuff. I wanted to like see what you thought about that whole thing. If you heard about it, the class action suit against the controller drift or whatever the fuck it was. Because I thought when I saw it, I was like, bro, come on, man. I swear success makes you so many haters, bro. Like, people just want to see you fail, man.
That's what happens, you know what I'm saying? Which is the reason why I don't like Drake. But so I'll go into that, right? Controller drift. And anyway, I'll go into that. So anyway, when it comes to Beyond 3D, there are some developers that cannot stand the Sony. They don't like the PlayStation's like culture under there. They can't stand it. They hate it. They fucking hate it. And time again, they would, the developers from Sony, or just people that really utilize the hardware for PlayStation, did things that PC really couldn't do. It's specialized. There's a place for everything. But going on to the PS2, I remember they had games where they said that normal maps were impossible for the PlayStation 2. And if you don't know what a normal map is, it is a texture or a wallpaper that could simulate depth. So it looks like it has bumps on it when it's still flat and shit like that, right? And it reacts to light. So you can shine a light and pixels will create their own shadow. It'll still be in a 2D space, but it'll look like it has some depth to it because of that. So a game called Path of Neo came out. And that game had normal maps every fucking where. And the PS2 wasn't designed to do that because it was older hardware. But the Xbox had hardware built in per pixel shaders and shit like that. It could do it. Now, it was a different way that the PlayStation 2 did it. It used the polygons to generate the lighting directional. That's how I figured out the directions. They hate PlayStation because it's always on top. They destroyed everything in their path. They kicked off Sega. They forced Nintendo into their own thing, and they made Microsoft give up on trying to beat them. I think really what's going on is that they straight up just don't like the culture of PlayStation. They don't like the people there. They don't like the fans there. They don't like the fans being grateful or the fans really being in awe at the console generating what it generates. God of War 3, for instance, right, was a beautiful fucking game. Everybody on Beyond 3D kept saying that the PlayStation 3 had a horrible anti-aliasing, which it did. It's always jaggier than the 360. Always jaggier, always this, always that, right? It can't run fast frame rates and stuff like that. So Sony incorporated something called morphological anti-aliasing, which used a cell processor to scan all the edges of polygons and then smooth them the fuck out. So when you play God of War 3 on the PlayStation 3, it didn't have any jaggies to be sure. And then all the blood splatter and shit, another thing that the PlayStation 3 was not able to do is it was not able to generate transparencies well, or things that were like smoke, or things that were like water and shit like that. It wasn't good at it. So the developers always found a way of doing things, and the way that they did it is that they had non-transparent blood chunks or blood splatters. And that's what Beyond 3D like focus on. Oh, you zoom in here, you can't see through the blood splatter when it's in the air. It was like the most ridiculous shit. You know, you had game trailers that spoiled fucking God of War 3. Nobody really, even when Sony was at its bottom, they fucking hated them. So it was always like, because of the culture, and everybody was like, there's a certain quality with PlayStation stuff that is way beyond what you would get there, and then it pushes punches his weight. I forgot what it is, but anyway, it goes beyond what it's supposed to do on paper, and they hated that shit. And they always thought that you know what you're talking about. Look at all these shortcuts. Every fucking game has a shortcut. Every fucking game will have a shortcut somewhere. The end result is the thing that matters. So what I think is going on with Alex is that he is a PC gamer, but he just can't stand people that say that PlayStation is good. And he'll do anything it takes to shit on PlayStation, even if it is bringing up Xbox Series X. Now, he is not as knowledgeable as what people think he is. He's an enthusiast, just like the Leviathan dude that's on Twitter. He's an enthusiast. Now, I'll say this. I made a video the other day, last week, basically, about the PlayStation 5 and its clock speed and what it does. And I was telling you this yesterday, Ken, that the PlayStation, or that Mark Cerny laid out everything about the PlayStation 5 in that meeting, and he did it in such a way that it was extremely digestible. That's the funny thing. People heard this but didn't listen to what he said. When you put the PlayStation 5 in this photo mode situation, the CPU is not doing that much work because it doesn't have to calculate AI movements and pathfinding and stuff like that. It's still being in use because you still need ray tracing. You still need the CPU to kind of order the instructions to do ray tracing and stuff like that. So the CPU is not at zero. It's still being used, just not as much. And the GPU is being used mostly, but even certain GPU functions need the CPU to delegate, organize information. So, okay, cool. What Mark Cerny said in that whole walk to PlayStation 5, what was it called again, Ken? What was it called? Road to PS5?
Yeah, I think it was Road to PS5.
So with the Road to PS5, he mentions this, that the PlayStation 5, what they did and why the PS5 is so big is because they took into account the absolute worst case scenario when it comes to the PlayStation 5. How in a hot ass fucking room, in a game that is pushing both the CPU, the GPU to its absolute limits. Then they said, when it's running this hot, right? What can we do to cool it off? So one of the things they said was to make a bigger box. Okay, cool. The other thing that they did is make a big ass fucking fan. The other thing they say that makes sure that the fan is large enough so it doesn't have to spin as fast and doesn't generate noise. And lastly, on a BIOS level, it will look at how many, and what's going on, Puck? It will look at how many instructions that is being thrown at the CPU and GPU and downclock it according to the activities. That's what Mark Cerny said. Now, if the CPU and GPU is not being utilized, it's not going to waste energy to generate the fucking scene. It doesn't need to. There's a certain threshold that goes that if you push the system, yeah, it'll overclock. But if it's not, then it's just going to be at regular fucking speed. And this is what's going to happen. If the CPU is not at 2.3 gigahertz, whatever it was, I can't remember, then it's going to, like a Mark Cerny, No, don't use that here. Don't do that. But but that's the thing, man. Like it doesn't need to be at full capacity because it's not being utilized. It's a waste of fucking energy. And remember that Sony and Microsoft, to a degree, used they have to make sure that they are conscientious of the amount of wattage or power that these consoles are drawing, because people were complaining about that. Oh my God, my bill went up $50 over the course of a year because it's plugged in on standby mode. So that's why when the PlayStation 5 is not being in use, then it slows down. Now, here's what variable clock speed is doing for, and I go back to Alex Battaglia. Here's what the variable clock speed is doing. The reason why they chose variable clock speed is because it's a waste of fucking of material, of chip die space to keep it fixed. It's a waste. They could have put some of the efforts in something else, like the sound chip or the data scrubbers in the GPU. All that shit that they could have done to, they could have added that shit in there and just overclocked it. And that's what they ended up doing, essentially. But the PS5 is as big as it is because of that worst case scenario. And it downclocks to when it needs to, it doesn't need to work as hard. So anyway, going back to the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 5 will not need to use 10.3 teraflops if you're looking into the sky. There's nothing to be rendered in the sky. So why the fuck would you need all those teraflops? This is what Sony did. If you're not using it, it automatically downclocks based off of the activity that is happening inside the chip. It was one of the smartest moves that any people could. I mean, AMD nailed that shit, especially when you have such a power hungry system. If you're not using it, it's more like when you play a game, right? It is not at worst case scenario all the time. You may have an explosion on your screen at once for a couple seconds, and then it's done. It doesn't need all the teraflops when the fucking explosion is done. Whereas Xbox Series X is always running at that speed, always running at that speed. And they use the vapor cooling that they have there to, when the CPU is running in overdrive for no reason, now it has to speed up to cool it off. There's nothing to kind of slow down the process of it using all those watts. Going back to Alex Battaglia, this dude is a big ass troll. He's a salty motherfucker, and he's mad that the likes of Thresh, and no, Thresh technologically doesn't get everything right, but what he is doing is calling the fuck out of them. That is one of the biggest things that they said, that Thrash said, is look at this shit. Why are you saying Windows 10? But then under Windows 10, you're telling the CPU, the CPU that you chose and the GPU. Why not just put PC and then list the CPU and GPU? You obviously got something going on there. And Alex is one of those fucking dudes that if you don't explicitly say it, then I never said it. So I can say this, right? Fucking, black women are so annoying, right? I don't like them. I'm sorry, black women are annoying. They're loud. They're ghetto. That's the typical shit that they say about black women, right? And if somebody be like, "Yo, what the fuck? You don't like black women?" I never said that. I never had those words come out my mouth. What are you talking about? That's the type of nigga that Alex is. He is a closeted fanboy of PC shit, and he does not like PlayStation at all. At all. I don't know what the vendetta is, and coupled with the fact that I guess he's not like how console players pretend like they know what they're talking about and then come at him because he knows more than the average person. And he's like, yo, they always think they know it all and they don't know shit. Oh, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a vendetta thing there. And Microsoft is definitely giving them fucking perks to show their shit off. You don't have to. That's another thing he says. We're not getting paid by Microsoft. That's ludicrous. What are you talking about? That's absolutely ludicrous. No, but like if you don't do what they say, you're not going to get those perks any fucking more. You're not. There's many ways to persuade people into doing things. You know, he's a ridiculous guy. What do you guys think about Mr. Bugatti? Or Bugatti?
I don't really got thoughts on it. I don't really watch that type of shit no more, so I don't really got nothing to say about it. I don't really, honestly. I used to watch it just to see like what the resolutions of shit would be and like how games are run, but I don't care about it no more. It's just people fucking get mad over it and shit. And it just makes me not want to watch it no more.
It was curious to see. Honestly, it was curious to see how like the PlayStation 5 was faring against the fucking, you know what I mean, against the fucking Series X that had more fucking processing units. You know what I'm saying? It was just interesting. And when we started seeing these results that didn't make any sense to anybody, it was like, what the fuck's going on with this? How does this happen? And that's one of the things. You know, I do watch it, to be honest with you. I watch it. Begrudgingly, but I do. What about you, Kim?
To be honest with you, man, I don't really keep up with it that much, man, because I don't know. I'm more interested in the end result, man, for a lot of this shit. I mean, I like to see what a game actually has to offer in terms of its content, you know. So, and that's how I kind of like judge whether something's like good or not, in my opinion. So like all of this shit about like the resolution and you know,
what are you shoveling?
huh?
What are you shoveling?
Oh no, my mic is sensitive. I'm using my headset this time.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it was interesting at first, you know, because for a while, you know, we had so many of these dudes who were like, "Yo, the Xbox Series X is the most powerful console in the world," and then it went from the most powerful console in the world to the most powerful Xbox in the world or whatever. It's like you saw how the language started changing, like once more information started coming out about the PlayStation 5 or whatever, right? And at first it was interesting because you couldn't really say anything, man, because you know it was like, okay, on paper the Xbox Series X is a more powerful console and all this shit, right? But like once they started showing like the actual comparisons between like what Digital Foundry was doing with the comparisons and all that shit, I mean, it was interesting because obviously you wanted to kind of see like how the console would perform against something like the Xbox Series X, you know, given its positioning or whatever, right? So I don't know. I mean, at first I did enjoy it because I kept up with it a little bit more because I like to troll on Twitter. Like when the stuff started coming out, I started trolling on Twitter and all that shit. But I mean, to me, honestly, bro, that type of stuff doesn't really matter that much to me. I don't really care like if a game's resolution is like lower than another game's resolution, or whatever, if it hits native 4K or dynamic 4K, like that type of stuff does not matter to me that much.
When the end result is what it is. Like for instance, today Alex had a video with the what do you call that shit again? The medium. And he was like, well, the game doesn't really run well. You have to put it at 1080p settings to get the highest quality ray tracing and shit like that. And I'm like, but you guys said last generation that checkerboard rendering was worse than the native for it. Like your narrative consistently fucking changes because it fits with fueling the console wars. Like Umar said, when he was reviewing Miles Morales, this motherfucker was like, like what is it, Marvel's Mouse, whatever. Like, it's not even fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's not even a PlayStation like IP like that. You know what I mean? It's just he just like trolls people. I swear he does. Like he knows it bothers people and he knows that shit, but he can go under the guise of saying, "I really forgot the name. You guys are looking too deeply into it." Like who doesn't? Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? And it comes off as being like, yo, this dude is like fucking wild with the shit that he be doing. Like, this dude is absolutely wild.
Yeah. Personally, man, I feel like too many people focus on this stuff, man.
They
You
do
know,
focus on it, and
like
that's what I kind of miss back in the day when we have. I don't. The PlayStation 2 was it. It was such an odd system in itself, right? The system was super fucking odd. It didn't follow it didn't conform to anything. But more importantly, everyone knew it was the weaker console. You know what I'm saying? So it had lower resolution than the other consoles. We knew this. We all knew this. But what ended up happening with the PlayStation, with PlayStation, people didn't care. Shit, fucking back in the day when you played what do you call that shit again? N64's GoldenEye. That motherfucking shit was what? 8 frames a second. Ain't nobody give a fuck about that shit back in the day. The game was fun. It was fucking fun.
yo, we were just talking about this shit yesterday too, man. Like some of the cool stuff that they did back in the day, even though the PS2 wasn't like the most powerful console, it had some of the coolest gaming experiences. You know, like they captured some of the coolest stuff, like what you were telling me yesterday about the whole thing with Metal Gear and how they kind of like started doing some like unconventional stuff with the mechanics and everything. Like that's the type of shit that I think really makes something special with a game. When they're able to capture that sort of magic. And focusing on things like resolution and whether the game runs at 60 frames a second and if it does temporal injection or whatever the fuck, right? Like that's cool, but to me that's just I don't know, it's just a side thing, man.
Did you see the Division? In order for them to tell that it was being reconstructed, right? Because it takes the accumulation of the previous frames to smooth out, the jaggies. They waited for a grass blade to go in front of the screen so it can kind of like reset the accumulation. And they slowed it down by like what, 5 or 10 frames so they can see how the real resolution is. Or right before the game loads, they captured it really quickly so they can count the pixels. Who the fuck cares? At the end of what I'm looking at on my screen is what the fuck matters. You were absolutely right, Umar. They care about the numbers way too fucking much. And you know what? Alex and Beyond, like back in the day with Beyond 3D, they used to be all about the technical stuff. And I realized this shit isn't really all about technical stuff. This is about preference. I started realizing that shit. These people are about preferences right now. You don't like something and you tear it the fuck down, like the whole God of War thing I just mentioned. Oh, you can't see through the blood. Who the fuck cares?
Yo,
Who cares? You know what I mean? Does it run properly? You know what I'm saying? The checkerboard rendering. Oh, you could actually tell right before the camera cuts. We can see exactly what the real resolution is. It's good to be a hobbyist and see this shit, but they know they get clicks on clicks on clicks. You know who started this shit low key? Microsoft. That's who did it. That's what did it. When Sony came out and they said that our system can do these polygons, right? Even back in the first PlayStation, they didn't tell the numbers to say that our numbers are better than the competition. They were telling people what these polygons were and what it could do for the gaming that you're going to be having. It can do these amount of polygons, and what that means is that you can have bigger worlds or whatever. Then they have PS2. The emotion engine, right? The emotion engine allows for lip sync. You know what I mean? Like you can see their mouth moves, you can see their real emotions in their face, and that's when they showed the Ridge Racer shit. You know what I'm saying? They did have it back in the day with the PS1 and 2. It's just no one. It had to look significantly worse and be like, yeah, this one definitely is the better one. It was always there, but then Digital Foundry created that culture of zooming in 600 fucking times on what Lincoln Clay said yesterday on a ladybug's leg in the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like it rendered this leg here, like it's so ridiculous, and it takes away. It's so reductive when it comes to the whole picture of game.
It's so ridiculous to me, man. You know, I don't know. That to me, that's not really gaming, man. That's just like, you know, fucking tech shit, man. Like that. I mean, that's cool.
You can have tech shit. Like I said before, at one point I wanted to program so bad, but I learned a lot with programming. What stopped me from actually programming is that when I was playing my game, I started seeing the environment break apart. You know, I would see, oh, this is a polygon, this is a shader, this is a vector, this is a texel, this is motion vectors, and I was like, no, I don't want to do all that because it's fucking up my experience. I didn't want. I stopped. I took programming, C++ years ago, and I just didn't. I literally made my mind forget it because every time I would play a game, sometimes you will look at it. Why did they draw it here? They could have just actually not drew this building here. This is why the frame rate is tanking because of this. I didn't want to live like that, but I like gaming too much for me to do that. I still follow it a little bit, but like most of the shit I've forgotten. You know,
I mean, there's a place for it. I think, you know what I mean. Like, there's a place for you know, like understanding some of the more specific parts of like how a game is built or whatever the case is, right? But I don't know. At the end of the day, man, it's really just like what kind of experience is this game gonna bring you, man? You know, because it's cool to have like a higher resolution, but you're not gonna remember that shit. Nobody's gonna like a couple of years down the line, nobody's gonna be thinking, "Yo, that game was fucking for native for like," you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna be doing that shit.
You mentioned that to see Umar. You said this about Nintendo. You said that they don't bother to make their games look nice because they're lazy. I wouldn't say that they're lazy. What they are though is Pablo. This nigga.
Pablo dropped out, I think.
He didn't drop out. That nigga's fucking finger banging his ass. There you go again. He was like, "What you say?" He was like, "What?" I fingered it. Anyway, they're just cautious now. You know what I mean? Sony beat the brakes off that ass. That's what ended up happening with them. They fucked them up pretty big. Man, you late. I already had you, but they fucked them up. They made a really competent console with the N64. It got his ass whooped. They made a competent console. It was goofy looking, but it was more powerful than the PlayStation 2 with the GameCube. It got his ass whooped. And they lost a lot of fucking money off of that shit. So they were like, oh, fuck it. We can't beat them with technical prowess. Let's just make something let's see how this works. And the Wii did really well. Then they tried to do a Wii U because they didn't want to add the investment in there because it costs money and they almost went out of the fucking business. Sony almost fucked them up too. So I'm low key happy. I don't like Nintendo like that, but I'm low key happy that they're doing what they're doing. You know,
I'm a Nintendo fan personally.
You know, I am. I'm happy. I'm happy that they saw, even though the Vita was better than the Switch, but I'm happy that they see success. Because I definitely don't want Nintendo to go. Because Nintendo is one of the few companies that pours the life essence into the industry.
Yeah, bro. Like I was mentioning yesterday, man. I really like what they've done with their culture too, man.
Every time you say that, I always think you want to say, I really like what they've done to the place. I'm like,
no, man, I really like what they've done with the culture, man, because I mean, say what you will about Nintendo, whatever the case is, right? But they have a really tight-knit community, man. And, you know, Nintendo knows that. And the games that they make, they're able to do that because they have such a tight-knit community, you know, and they could do their own shit. And I really want to see Sony kind of go like in that sort of route, you know, where they have such a tight-knit community that you know, they're able to do things like take more risks. They're able to do like more with their games and really kind of like bolster like the whatever, you know, like the I mean, I don't the ecosystem. I mean, quote unquote.
You want Sony to have their own type of culture. And listen, Umar, they don't need to. That's the thing. We want them to, but they don't need to do proper remasters and remakes. There's a thin line between remasters and remakes anyway. Although, for instance, games were made in a 4:3 ratio, a box, so to speak, right? Since it was made in a box format, that's the biggest problem when it comes to this shit, right? Anything outside that box is not really being rendered properly. So if they try to make it for, like, if they would have to redo the engine or make it, all the assets in a new engine and stuff like that, which carries its own limitations and issues. You know what I mean?
Yo, Josh.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to respond to Umar's comment here. He said Sony does take risks. I'm not saying it like they don't take risks. I'm just saying, I would like to see that Sony kind of have like the same, like similar culture, like what they do with Nintendo. Because the thing about Nintendo, man, is that they can basically operate on their own shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of how strong their community is. And I'm saying I want to see like Sony kind of have that same strength within their own community. You know what I mean?
They're starting that, Umar. I mean, they already started that.
Yeah, I know that. I know that they're starting.
I know, but I'm just kind of reiterating. So when the PlayStation 1 came out, they didn't make their own games like that. I mean, they made Gran Turismo, and they had other games that kind of copied or aped other games, such as Legend of Dragoon was kind of like a Final Fantasy thing, which is extremely expensive, and they couldn't keep doing that, right? They made more money, by third-party developers putting shit on their system. Then PS2 hit, right? And they didn't need to do anything. All they really cared about, they were still in the PS1 aspects where they needed a platformer. So they had to replace Crash with Jack and Dexter. You know what I mean? And at the time, I guess they started thinking to themselves, I think we need to start investing in this brand because it's making a lot of fucking money. And that's when they started buying the developers back then. You know what I mean? People that really kind of follow the template of what Sony wanted, which is the cinematic experience. Before Naughty Dog even did cinematic experiences, that was always a part of the PlayStation culture. Then the PlayStation 3 happened, and since the PlayStation 3 did so bad, and all those developers, the third-party developers, were getting like bought out by other companies, like they were like, "Fuck this Sony, man! They fucking up all over the place. I don't gotta, even though Sony prop them up." You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Josh.
Yeah.
Let me just. I don't want to cut you off.
You definitely cut me off, though.
No, I just want to respond. Like, okay, so Umar, like, what do I want them to do? Just keep doing what they're doing, man. I mean, I think what they're doing now is what they need to be doing.
That's what I'm saying. I was going to touch upon what you were talking about because we already had that conversation.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, honestly,
we had it offline. So
yeah.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. When Sony was getting their ass beat in the PlayStation 3 era, they had no choice but to leverage what they purchased. The people who did the getaway, they wanted to do something new, and they made PlayStation Home. You had Gran Turismo that needed to be on top of his fucking game. You had God of War that needed to be on top of his game. Naughty Dog can do Uncharted and do new IPs and stuff like that. Guerrilla Games had to step it the fuck up. All of them had to step it the fuck up, new IPs. What Sony ended up doing as to why the PlayStation 4 was so successful is they're doing things differently. But it's still going to arrive to the same conclusion. Nintendo worries about their IPs, right? Their IPs are their gold, right? Sony is not relying on IPs. They're relying on the developers. They want you to see PlayStation Studios and automatically, I don't care what they make, that shit be striking gold like a motherfucker. That's why they're doing what they're doing. They're not focusing on the IPs. They're focused on the developers. Because we already know at this point in time with the PlayStation culture, you're going to be in for a high quality experience when it comes to the PlayStation first party stuff. But that only started with PlayStation 3. and PlayStation 3 was getting like shit on. And then people started finally seeing a light with the PlayStation 4 and what they could do. Now Guerrilla Games, it's not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's what else can Guerrilla Games do? You know what I'm saying? It's not The Last of Us. It's what the fuck else can, you know what I mean? Naughty Dog could do. When they see Sucker Punch and they killed it with the fucking Infamous series, right? That they built on the PlayStation 3. People were like, shit, the Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch is doing a fucking samurai game? Oh shit, I'll purchase it. Fuck it. I liked your other game.
Hell yeah. Especially when you saw it, like when you actually saw what the game looked like. You were like, yo, this shit looks dope.
You know, that quality was so people are not looking at the IPs. People are fans with the developers. The development studios. That's why Naughty Dog could make that mistake that they made. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna straight gold all the time, you know, but there is a quality there, whether you like The Last of Us Part 2 or not. There's a quality there that you already know what to expect when you play a Naughty Dog game. You know what to expect when you play a Guerrilla Games game. That's why you can always go to Guerrilla Games and be like, I know what they're going to kind of do. I know they're not going to make a racing game. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Polyphony Digital, you know they're not going to make an adventure game. But you know what the fuck they would do. If they made anything the fuck else, it's going to be some kind of race and heritage and shit like that. You know it's going to be extremely top notch and so forth and so on. Santa Monica Studios.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, man.
Yeah.
Do you think that you know, Polyphony Digital will kind of like expand a little bit more with what they do? I mean, I know that they're known for racing or whatever in the Gran Turismo series, but
did you know that they made the game Omega Boost?
No, I didn't.
You know what that game is?
Nah.
Pablo, where the fuck you at? You figure
Yeah, this nigga's quiet.
I'm just listening.
That nigga learning. That nigga's a program. So
I figured, you know, you'd probably have something to say about it at least.
Yeah, what do you have to say about it?
About what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all kind of went off. Like, I was like, what the fuck? But about what, though? Like, exactly. Y'all was talking about mad shit.
Well, we talked about how Alex kind of doesn't like the PlayStation culture. That's why he acts the way that he acts.
But why? Like, why do you care about that? Like, why does it bug you?
It bugs me. I'm glad you're asking these questions, though. I really am glad that you're asking these questions. It bugs me because he's in a position of power. And
that is not a position of power. Y'all can completely ignore this nigga, and they could be dropping like my issue with the fan base right now is like y'all niggas is getting banger ass games right now. Like
no, you're
Ratchet
right.
and Clank. Wait, hold on. Ratchet and Clank is coming up in June and shit, and then we're gonna have God of War a couple months after that or whatever, if it comes out this year or next year or whatever, and then we're gonna have other shit dropping Kenya and all that shit. Why y'all care what some nigga that fucking gets naked on IG? Yeah, like why do y'all care what he think? He don't got no position of power. All he does is count pixels, and he got a little PC on the side where he plays his games and shit.
All right,
we playing games. This nigga just looking at pixels.
I'm gonna answer your question. Why do they care what Thrash says? And he only has 10,000 subs.
Because they taking a bait. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, but it goes to show you the amount of power somebody has or influence if the will squeaks enough. You know what I mean?
But it's like
they want to sit there and say that Thrash is stupid and shit like that. They don't know what he's talking about, but yet Thrash has a following regardless of what he fucking says, if it's accurate or inaccurate. He's still got a fucking following. He has a following for a fucking reason. You know what I mean? And it's fucking up Digital Foundry because those people are going to tell other people, and those other people are going to tell other people, and that multiplies exponentially. Now, when they sit there and say the PlayStation 5 is weak, that multiplies and it starts to, affect things. It's the reason why Killzone functioned the way that it did. Killzone 2 was a really good game, but people didn't want that fucking game because it wasn't Halo or Call of Duty, and so they had to pivot. They could, you know what I'm saying, because they were listening to other people. Yo, Ken, if you could.
You said what?
Look up if you could.
Yo, you're breaking up, man. Look up what?
Omar, you know what the fuck I meant, nigga. Kenya, Zimbabwe, nigga, whatever the game is called, nigga. Like,
I said, look.
We getting we're gonna be getting bangers in the next couple of months. Like, who cares about some dude that be showing his cock on IG? Like, come on, man, like,
you was looking at it.
Hey man, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, like, bro, like, look, like Thrash. I'm glad Thrash, you know, exposed them and shit, cause like, yeah, all right, to that degree, like, if you like just making up shit and like saying like this is doing something better than the on the console, like, yeah, maybe people should know that, I guess, but I mean, like, bro, like, these dudes like literally got a job for like just counting resolutions and shit, like, and fucking measuring frame rates and stuff like that. Like, the in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? Like, what the fuck they say? When we playing, we playing, we like, we eating good over here. That's basically what I'm saying. Type shit.
I told you it does, but I gave you a reason as to why it does matter. Only because of that.
But
that's why I keep culture the way it is, because you are afraid of being canceled or get bad reputations. I'll put it that way.
Man, I feel you, but I don't know, man. Like, the whole I don't think they have any weight, like, in the gaming industry. I don't think that people think.
They're starting to lose weight for sure, man.
Well, yeah. Now they're starting to, cause like Thrash, he did expose like a big issue with them, like he's showing that, like, yo, like, they're like, it looked like they, you know, just making shit up, you know, just to make the Xbox look a lot better and shit. So like they starting to look a lot bad. I think I think the team over there, like John and all them niggas, like, they need to talk to this Alex dude and tell him to, like, stop talking back and forth with these niggas on Twitter, because it's making him look bad, and that's reflecting back on the team.
It makes him look really petty.
Yeah.
It makes him look like you hiding something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they need to talk to him and be like, yo, bro, like, you're fucking wild right now.
You can't communicate with people because of that. You may slip up and say some fucked up shit, and they're gonna learn that shit soon. They're gonna slip up so bad that people are gonna be like, yo, I don't fucking like them because they said this, and that.
Look at the other dude. What's the dude's name? That's on the team. He mad cool. Like, he seemed mad chill. Tom. I think his name is Tom.
Tom is
mad chill. You don't see this nigga on Twitter fucking arguing with these niggas, like,
right, he likes PC and that's it. Like, it's really, like, he likes PC and he likes technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll call it how it is. It is what it is. Like, he's so matter of fact, which I like. You're absolutely right. He is so matter of fact. And there's emotion when Alex does his reviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the what do you call it? Even with the Medium. Why is Spider-Man Miles Morales in that fucking analysis?
Yeah. Because I think he's trying to troll y'all, honestly. Like,
he was like, yo,
nah, man, yo, Sony's be living rent free in these dudes' heads, bro.
but they're living rent free in his head. That's gonna fuck up his meal.
Like, bro, honestly, the only two people, like, that's like really, like, not like really ingrained in this shit, I feel like, is Richard Ledbetter and Tom Morgan. Like, John Linneman, he kind of be giving into it sometimes and stuff, and then he started crying wolf after people get on his ass. But it's Alex Battaglia. He the one that's like fucking like going back and forth with these people, telling like bro, like, he can't take, like, it seems like he can't really take criticism well. Like, bro, like, you're not gonna always get it right. Like you're not, like, I feel like he thinks he's the only one that really knows, like, tech shit. But there's, like, people that's on the net, like, that don't really that don't have it as a job, but they know a lot of shit about it and shit. So
That's the funny thing is you're absolutely right, yo. Because I didn't know he was the dictator. I had no idea he was that dude, and I remember not liking his ass back then. I did not like that dude. Yo. I was like, this dude is so pompous, man. Like, who is this fucking dude? I remember I asked him, he never answered. I was like, yo, what development studio do you work for?
why you acting? You know that thing didn't work.
No, that was years ago. That was like when I was in high school.
Oh, Alex was telling
He was there since like 2008 and shit like that. He was going by the name Dictator.
I thought he just started working with them though.
No. I'm talking about when he was on Beyond 3D.
Oh damn! So you know this nigga history then for real?
I didn't know it was him though.
Oh,
I remember seeing his name. I'm like, what a fucking dick.
oh, Dictator. Oh, on
Yeah.
on he was on Gaff. I'm guessing.
No, he was on Beyond 3D. What's going on, kid?
Oh, was that
Yo.
Wait, he's lagging though. He's lagging.
What you said?
Yo, I said, was that his IG name, Dictator? Come on, man. I know I'm not the only one who thought that.
No, you were the only one.
I don't know. He really like showing his cock on IG. I know that.
Yeah, he fucking spray painted out. I was going to get
That's
that.
a little weird. That's a red flag right there.
I think he is like bi or gay, honestly. But I was going to take that picture, cut him out, right, and then put Game Pass in the middle of his junk. I was like, let me not do that.
With the 60 Metacritic.
I was going to do that for the thumbnail, yo. I was like, let me not be wild like that, yo. This dude had his legs sprawled open, yo. Why, nigga?
Bro, what the fuck, man?
This dude is wild, yo. He's something, man. I can tell you that much. That nigga is something the fuck else.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't even know who this dude was, like, not that long ago, man. I just don't care. I just really don't care. Like, I mean, at the end of the day,
it frustrates people because it's like, yo, you're supposed to be like not biased like that, but you are. Like, you're like super biased, and it's like it's annoying when you claim that you're not biased, but you clearly are. You know what I mean? People don't have time for that shit.
yeah, honestly, bro, I don't like that either, man. I don't see it. I like it better when
you biased, shit, fuck it.
yeah, like, I mean, even if, like, for example, man, even with the Xbox dudes, man, I know a lot of the dumb stuff that they say, right? But at least they're honest about what they like and what they don't like. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to be like, yo, I'm neutral, like you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, they're like, nah, dude, fuck this Xbox, bro. You know? And it's the same shit on PlayStation, like, fuck Xbox, PlayStation, whatever.
You bought my guy.
Yes, he is. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but I think that shit kind of like blew up like when fucking they did that fucking photo mode shit on Control. Like people are like, "What the fuck? Are you really?" I will say that was fucking dumb. Like you're gonna really like observe the frame rate like while it's in photo mode. Like
no, but it's not. Here's the thing. He should have told the story in its entirety. I totally understand them wanting to see exactly what is going on with the PS5 as to why it is whooping that ass.
Yo, can you?
And they had the perfect opportunity to see what is going on with the GPU, and they're thinking to themselves. And again, when you pretend like you're so smart, you become closed-minded. You know what I mean? They didn't think about the variable refresh rate. Apparently, they think that, oh, well, I mean, if the CPU isn't being used, it's going to give it to the GPU. The GPU is not being stressed either, really. There's nothing really going on with the GPU. The GPU is it's more than ray tracing. There's it can generate particles. It can generate, you know what I'm saying, some of the damage. It can generate, you know, the decals or whatever the case is. Polygon, it does a lot. It's more than just that, but you have a scene where And you notice this too, like the frame rate was really all over the place, even though it was higher than 60 or it was around 60. It wasn't stable. That line graph wasn't stable. It was up and down. Where PlayStation 3 or 5, excuse me, was just a straight line. It was under, but it was a straight line. That lets you know that the system is doing something. I don't think that's the most optimized engine anyway. And they know this because they have the PC version. It's like, what are you doing here? He hurried up and made that video. He didn't catch the fact that the ray tracing was fucked up. And again, like I told you earlier, that as long as they didn't explicitly say it, they want to run with it. He kept saying, well, Remedy said it's equal. That's them. They said it was equal. We clearly fucking see that it's not equal. Something's wrong. Something's different. Like, what do you mean it's equal? It's not equal. It's doing something else. And they're both two different platforms. And they work two different ways. Your fucking academic analysis is invalid because they work differently. One is using a variable refresh rate or variable frequency for a CPU, and it looks at the fucking amount of activity that's on it to determine what it should be in terms of the clock speed. Another one is fixed. Automatically, your analysis is fucked up. They don't even function the same fucking way. And more so, when you have your actual game and your game is dipping, obviously there's more to it. Why not bring up the fact that, yeah, it's enrollment, but it runs faster. For some reason, when you're playing the game, actually, it runs about the same. Why not bring that up? You know? It's just he was super biased with that shit, but since he didn't explicitly say it, I'm not biased. That's basically where the hill he wants to die on, essentially.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
I mean, I get it. It's like I said, this is a part of being a gamer. You know what I mean? This has always been like this, you know, this versus that.
No, I think it's a part of the internet gamer.
Well, no, it's always been comparisons. People are going to compare shit, and that's fine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I compare my dick all the time with the people that's in the pornos just to make sure where I'm at. But the thing is,
yo, Josh, where do you stack up, yo?
I can be a porno star. If I wanted to. I can.
Can I be in your first movie?
Yo, I'll be the cameraman, yo.
This nigga, yo, I can't deal with this shit, yo. I can't. But you want to get comparisons all the time. Back in the day, Sega versus Nintendo versus, you know, PlayStation versus Xbox, it's exacerbated because you got these people, right, that are professionals that are chiming in and have biases, and other companies that are giving them fucking, you know, roadside assistance and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with this. So they're gonna look at you. Like, I'll put it to you like this: if a girl sees you and you're a dude, and if you're in a Lamborghini, she's going to treat you differently than if you were in a Honda Civic. And people see these guys in their sub counts, you know what I'm saying? They see them and they're like, oh, they have more weight than other people. No, that doesn't mean shit. There's plenty of people that have degrees and are stupid as fuck.
Yo, people be pulling out freaking peas and shit talking about these fucking games, bro.
They did what now?
I said they be pulling out their PhDs and stuff, like freaking master degrees and shit. It's like, I'm a fucking doctor, man. Like,
you still stupid. Why you want to have this stupid ass conversation with stupid old me if you a fucking if you have a PhD?
I'm a fucking astrophysicist, man.
You're having a stupid ass conversation with me. How smart are you? That's like me arguing with a fucking ant. I'm smarter than you. The ant don't know what was going on. You don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. These people are fucking stupid. When they act like they're so smart and they want to stoop down other people's level, it shows either a bias or you're not as smart as what you think you are.
At the end of the day, keep it gaming.
Yo, play games,
Play games, boy.
not corporations.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to see what like what PlayStation's going to be doing in the future, man.
I just hope. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they keep on that trajectory of, hopefully they allow the freedom and not fall into this cancel culture shit. Because it's not just at first I was like, "Well, Sony, what are you doing?" It's every fucking company that are so afraid of that multiplicity of complaints. I
Bro,
went on social media. You remember I told you I got into a car accident? I went directly on social media and I said, I at fucking Enterprise. I was like, this stupid man, this is so stupid. They're so dumb. I had them. Immediately they came into my fucking inbox. How can I help? All these companies are so afraid of bad press, yo. All of them.
yeah, man. I mean, at this point, like just going back to this Alex dude, man, I'm at the point where I'm like fuck these dudes, man, because to me all of this shit is just not gaming to me, man. Like it's interesting to know about it, whatever, like if you are into it, but at the end of the day, man, it's just the end result, bro. Like, is the game good? You know what I'm saying? Like, who gives a fuck about the resolutions and shit? I'm with Pablo, man. I don't really think that they have as much of a platform as people think they do, man. I just think it's this online like Twitter bullshit, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's all we really got with this particular situation. I'm glad that we were able to kind of pull this fucking shit out of our ass. Normally, this never happens. But every now and again, this is why I don't fucking like the winter over here. I can't wait to move to fucking Florida, man. I'm getting the fuck out of this shit, man.
I guess that Florida, you bugging?
I like Florida. You know what I mean? Because like it's always a fucking problem. It's always a fucking problem, man. It's annoying. Every time I try to do something, yo, it's always.
Can I move in with you?
What?
What? I ain't
Huh?
saying shit. This nigga's like, what you say?
I couldn't hear it. It was mad high pitched.
I was like, can I move in with you?
Only if you let me bust your back out.
Oh man, you hear that, Umar?
Oh man.
You know what, man? You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about fucking Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn, fucking God of War. I don't give a fuck.
Asterisks.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, Gran Turismo 7, fucking Returnal, Kenna. Like that's what I want. That's what I care about, dude. I don't give a shit about that other stuff.
I want to make sure that Kenna is a fucking like an open, not an open world game, but like free camera. I'm curious about that.
Oh, you know what I thought about too, man? Like I didn't even realize that we had so many games kind of lined up over the next few months. Like right now we have what month is this? February. It wasn't next month. Yeah, next month is supposed to be Kenna, right? And then April. Yeah, it's Kenna, and then I believe April is Returnal, and then I believe
You say fucking Kenya. Racist.
Yeah, and then what was it after Returnal? Then it's what, Deathloop, and then that's in May, and then June is freaking Ratchet and Clank. So I mean, like the next couple of months, man, we got shit to play, bro. It's gonna be cool. I can't wait.
I like it.
Hell yeah.
But I'm gonna end this fucking note. I need to go to the store and get me some food. Give me that snack wrap. Yo, how was that chili, yo?
It's pretty fucking good, man.
Are you losing that weight?
I haven't even checked, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I feel better though.
I think it's scary, yo. But alrighty, guys, that's all we have here. Thank you guys for coming out. Umar, yo, you're the best. Pub, you're the
Umar,
best.
you the G, bro. You G.
Yeah, you guys are awesome,
No
man.
doubt, for real.
EFG, my nigga.
You really be holding it down. I gotta do something special for that kid or whatever. I don't know how old that nigga is.
Yo, spread his cheeks.
I gotta do something special for this guy. Get him a game or something.
I like how he delayed, so he had to come. What I said. He was like, he was like loading what I was saying. Spread his cheeks. Oh, there. Anyway, this is probably gonna be the last episode for. Actually, I'm gonna claim this shit. This is gonna be the last episode on this channel. So by next week, we're gonna have it on a new channel, and we'll let you know periodically throughout the week what's gonna happen for sure. But Umar, this is definitely not the end of my personality. I'm gonna have another podcast that's gonna be more open-ended.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that shit.
It's gonna be gaming. It's gonna be a lot of different shit. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be talking about some intricate shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like, you know.
Are you gonna keep talking about how much you don't like The Last of Us Part 2?
Possibly.
Yeah, this nigga be talk about that shit until this nigga dies or some shit. I don't know.
Yo, he's gonna be fucking dreaming about that shit in the grave. It's like,
I know this nigga want to fuck Abby, bro. I just know it.
That's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna be talking about shit like, you know, kind of shit we like, you know, kind of girls we like.
What I want to know is why they showed Abby and fucking that other dude and not Ellie and Dina, bro. Like, what the fuck?
What?
What?
What are you talking
about? They showed that sex scene with Abby and Owen, but they didn't show Dina and Ellie, the one that everybody wanted to see. Like, what the fuck?
They getting you prepped, man. They getting you prepped.
Shame.
You gonna get prepped, yo. Prep that ass. Toot that ass up. All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.